Don't go riding on that long black train. There's an engineer on that long black train, making you wonder if the ride is worth the pain. And he's just waiting on your heart to say, let me ride on that long black train. 'Cause you know there's victory in the Lord, I say. Victory in the Lord. Cling to the Father and His holy name. Don't go riding on that long black train. Well, I can hear the whistle from a mile away. It sounds so good, but I must stay away. That train is a beauty, making everybody stare. But its only destination is the middle of nowhere. And you know there's victory in the Lord, I say. Victory in the Lord. And cling to the Father and His holy name. Don't go riding on that long black train. You better turn in your ticket for that long black train. Oh, watch out, my brother, for that long black train. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No, I didn't write that one. No. No, I wish I'd wrote that one. I'd have a whole lot more money than I got right now. No, I didn't write that one. And they've been saying she's been acting peculiar. And they've been saying she's been acting very strange. And they've been wondering if she ever knew him. Oh, at all. Oh, at all. And oh, the wind does blow. And oh, the road it goes on, and then oh, no one knows. Oh, 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 oh. And they've been saying he's been acting peculiar. And they've been saying he's been acting very strange. And they've been wondering if he ever really knew her. Oh, at all. Oh, at all. walk along this lonely road. Been so long since I've been home. Been all over this countryside. Being alone never hurt my pride. Oh, I've got a ticket. My golden ticket. I've got a golden ticket. Golden ticket. I work so long, can't get my fill. I'll keep climbing up that hill. Work so hard, my body's wore. Lost my mind, but I kept my soul. Oh, I've got a ticket. My golden ticket. I've got a golden ticket. I've just gotta find it, my golden ticket. The Lord, He told me not to fear, even if death whispers in my ear. My back is scarred with toil and pain. Town to town, they know my name. Oh, I've got a ticket. My golden ticket. I've got a golden ticket. And I've just gotta find it, my golden ticket. Thank you. Thank you so much. A long black train coming down the line, feeding off the souls that are lost and crying. Rails of sin, only evil remain. Watch out, my brother, for that long black train. Look to the heavens, you can look to the sky. You can find redemption staring back into your eyes. There is protection and there's peace the same. Watch out, my brother, for that long black train. 'Cause you know there's victory in the Lord, I say. Victory in the Lord. Cling to the Father and His holy name. Don't go riding on that long black train. And there's an engineer on that long black train, making you wonder if your ride is worth the pain. He's just waiting on your heart to say, let me ride on that long black train. And you know there's victory in the Lord, I say. Victory in the Lord. Cling to the Father and His holy name. Don't go riding on that long black train. Well, I can hear the whistle from a mile away. It sounds train is a beauty, making everybody stare. But its only destination is the middle of nowhere. And you know there's victory in the Lord, I say. Victory in the Lord. Claim to the Father and His holy name. Don't go riding on that long black train. You better turn in your ticket for that long black train. Oh, watch out, my brother, for that long black train. Okay. This is for my street people. Don't you know they look at us and they call us homeless, hobos, beggars, and gypsies. This is for my trained people. Don't you know they look at us and they call us homeless, hobos, beggars, and gypsies. It's the little things that'll get you so far, so far, so far. Like a little cot and a hot shower, shower, shower. With a can of paint and a couple hours, 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 hours. We could paint this town and make it ours, 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 ours. My dogs howling. Don't you know they look at us and they call us homeless, hobos, beggars, and gypsies. This is for my cats prowling. Don't you know they look at us and they call us homeless, hobos, beggars, and gypsies. It's the little things that'll get you so far, so far, so far. Like a little cot and a hot shower, shower, shower. With a can of paint and a couple hours, 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 hours. We could paint this town and make it ours, 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 ours. There's 150 million of us. Got no place to call a home. But that doesn't mean that we are loveless. And some of us just really like to roam. This is for my bands roaming. You know they look at us and they call us homeless, hobos, beggars, and gypsies. This is for the tribes growing. Don't you know they look at us and they call us homeless, hobos, beggars, and gypsies. It's the little things that'll get you so far, so far, so far. Like a little cot and a hot shower, 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 with a can of paint and a couple hours, 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 hours. We could paint this town and make it ours, hours, hours, hours. I've wept for those who suffer long, but how I weep for those who've gone in rooms of grief and question wrong, but keep on killing. It's in our soul to feel such things, but are we to watch without speaking and know what mercy sadness brings if God be willing? There is a train that's headed straight to heaven's gate, to heaven's gate, and on the way, child and man and woman wait, watch and wait for redemption day. Fire rages in the streets and swallows everything it meets. It's just an image often seen on television. Come leaders, come you men of grace, let us hear you pontificate your many virtues laid to waste, and we are listening. What do you have for us today? Throw us a bone, but save the plate. Was there no oil till too late? Was there no oil to excavate? No riches in trade for the fate of every person who died in hate. Throw us a bone, you men of grace. There's a train that's headed straight to heaven's gate, to heaven's gate. And on the way, child and man and woman wait, watch and wait for redemption day. It's buried in the countryside, exploding in the shells at night. It's everywhere a baby cries. Freedom, 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 freedom. It's a little shrill. Well, I showed up unrehearsed and I was unannounced, but people seemed to like it, so I guess I sounded alright. Oh, it was alright. Everything is alright. Everything's alright. Well, you never know where you might go. You could wind up on the road in a great big show. It'll be alright. Everything's alright. Everything is alright. Everything's alright. And you know that. Oh, nothing really changes. Oh, things just get rearranged. Oh, nothing ever really changes. Oh, things just get rearranged. Everything is alright. Everything's alright. Everything is alright. Everything's alright. Oh, everything's alright. Everything is alright. Everything is alright. Well, a wise man once told me, he said, girl, don't you worry. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Oh, everything's alright. Everything is alright. Everything's alright. Oh, everything's alright. Everything is alright. Everything's alright. And you know that. Oh, nothing really changes. Oh, things just get rearranged. Oh, nothing ever really changes. Oh, things just get rearranged. Everything is alright. Everything's alright. Everything is alright. Everything's alright. Everything is alright. Everything's alright. Everything is alright. Everything is alright.
Good afternoon. My name is Amber Mathewson, and I'm the chair of the board for Lutheran Social Services of the Southwest. And we would like to welcome you to the 2023 Building Foundations Luncheon. Welcome. I'd like to start off with a special thank you to our generous sponsors. They're listed in your program, but especially to our headline sponsor, Central Arizona Supply, for their support for today's event. Please join me. Please join me in prayer as we open our event today. Creator God, we are grateful for the generous blessings you have bestowed in our lives and that we can gather in this place and time. We know all too well that hasn't always been the case. Thank you for the resources that are immediately available to us that we often take for granted. Thank you for our homes where we rested safely and securely last night. Thank you for the bathrooms where we prepared to meet the day with running cold and hot water. Thank you for the closets and refrigerators that keep our clothes clean and our food fresh. Thank you for access to health care, education, and daily work that provides meaning and purpose. We ask that you provide the power of your divine presence among us today. May we see with fresh eyes how you invite us into new relationships with friends, neighbors, and strangers. Guide us to understand how you call forth from us that which you have entrusted in order that we make the world a better place, one life at a time. The shelter, food, and work are possible for everyone. Bless this time together for your glory, God. We ask all of this in the sure and certain confidence that you hear our prayers. Amen. At this time, I would like to recognize some folks in the room, and I ask that you remain standing and hold your applause till the end. If you are a fellow board member for Lutheran Social Services of Southwest, please stand. Now, if we could have our volunteers from the past year stand and be recognized. Last but certainly not least, if our fantastic staff members would stand and be recognized. Without the group's dedication, we could not serve our community and our clients. Please join me in a round of applause. Now I'd like to turn our attention towards today's lunch. The theme of our event today is our invisible neighbors. When we think of neighbors, we think of the people who live next door to us, or maybe even the same block as us. But what about the family across town, or one neighborhood over? What about the neighbor seeking shelter from weather under the bridge, or at the local soup kitchen? Aren't they a member of our community? After all, the definition of community is a group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common. Without even realizing it, you've already made a difference in the lives of people living in homelessness today. Without even realizing it, you already made a difference in the lives of people living in homelessness through iHelp and the Interfaith Homeless Emergency Lodging Program. As you walked into the hotel this afternoon, you joined us in packing 1,000 hygiene kits filled with things like toothpaste, a toothbrush, floss, and a bar of soap. These kits are just one of the key resources that we provide to our guests experiencing homelessness at our iHelp locations. Those 1,000 kits will impact hundreds of lives across Maricopa County. Please give yourself and your table mates a round of applause for already being a change maker. Homelessness is an issue we all face, be it through lived experience, knowing someone who became or overcame homelessness, facing the fear of becoming homeless head-on, or even just something we witness as we go about our day-to-day lives. The fact remains that homelessness affects everyone. When we think of people experiencing homelessness, most of us think that it happens to someone else. I know I did. Then I faced homelessness head-on. I grew up in a farming family where my housing was always secure. With the support of family, financial aid, and hard work, I was able to be the first person in my family to obtain a bachelor's degree. With my new bachelor's degree in hand, I stepped into adult life assuming that the future was mine to determine. Shortly after graduation, I got married and then pregnant with my first child. Through several subsequent events, both my husband and I found ourselves without jobs and without housing. We stayed for a week with my parents in Colorado, and then we took all of our savings and a few of our belongings and headed to Arizona to stay for what we thought would be a short time with my husband's parents. Weeks turned into months, and just a month and a half prior to the birth of my son, I was able to find work and rent an apartment. If it weren't for my in-laws taking us in, we would have been homeless, putting my family's health and my unborn baby's health at risk. Thanks to their kindness and eventually a company and a boss willing to share willing to hire a pregnant woman, we were able to have our own living space once again. While it was true we were not staying in a car or on the street, this was never a circumstance in which I imagined I would find myself. This is often very similar to what we hear from our iHelp guests. I never imagined myself here. Today, I'm proud to say that I'm the director for Pima County Public Libraries, which is a happy ending to a very rocky start that could have ended much differently if it weren't for the grace of my community. Many iHelp guests have similar stories to mine. They fell down on their luck, and they never saw it coming. They realized through the struggles that they had little options to turn toward. This initiative allows both you and I to help. With Lutheran Social Services of the Southwest at the heart of it all, the Interfaith Homeless Emergency Lodging Program is a unique, cost-effective program that uses what churches have in abundance: space, volunteers, and the desire to help the stranger, to offer overnight emergency shelter to those who experience homelessness and case management to help them move from crisis to stability. As shown on the screens, iHelp, in collaboration with our fantastic community partners, currently operates more than 20 locations across the valley, offering shelter for those in need 7 nights a week. We are excited to share with you that the City of Phoenix has invested in us to help expand iHelp, which will fill a large gap, as you can see, and allow us to aid those in need who are presently underserved. With 4 new iHelp centers opening within the next month, shown with the green pinpoints on the map. At this time, I would like to introduce and invite to the stage one of our former iHelp guests, Tracy. Tracy is a shining light in our world, and she's going to share her light with us as she plays a song on her guitar. Thank you, Tracy.
Oh, it is? Okay. Sorry. Thanks for allowing me to be here and play for you all today. You know, music is my passion, and it's what's helped me get through a lot of the roughest patches of my entire life. And thank you to iHelp, to the volunteers, Lutheran Social Services staff, and thanks to all of you, I'm no longer invisible. You may not know it, but your donations help make a world of difference, and without support from neighbors and friends like those in this room, it would be impossible for me to be here today. I'm going to play you a song that was written on a day of hope. Some days you don't know what's going on. Some days it might seem like everything's gone wrong. Then the angels come and talk to you. Don't forget the message that they brought to you. Some days you don't know what's going on. Some days it might seem like you're not very strong. Then the angels come and talk to you. Don't forget the lessons that they taught to you. Some days you can't tell the color of the sky. You drop to your knees and you beg God, why, oh why? Up above the great clouds, the sky is still blue, and the sun still shines. Some days you don't know what's going on. Some days you might feel like you're not very strong. Then the angels come and talk to you. Don't forget the message that they brought to you. Some days you don't know what's going on. Some days you might feel like you are gonna fall. Then the angels come and talk to you. Don't forget the lessons that they taught to you. Some days you can't tell the color of the sky. You drop to your knees knees and you beg God why, oh why? Up above the great clouds, the sky is still blue, and the sun still shines. Some days you feel so all alone and you feel like your back's up against the wall and you cry because you really just want to go home and you realize you ain't got none. So you look to the left and you look to the right, see the angel of the morning and the angel of the night, realize you ain't got to worry about a thing because God's got you on angel wings. Some days you can't tell the color of the sky. You drop to your knees and you beg God why, oh why? Up above the great clouds, the sky is still blue, and the sun still shines. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks so much, everybody.
Tracy, were you going to be saying something else?
I'm sorry?
Were you going to be saying something else?
Nope. So I'm just getting out of the way.
Wow, was that not incredible? Thank you so much for being here. I'm Connie Phillips. I'm the president and CEO of Lutheran Social Services, and we are just delighted to be able to be gathered here. How wonderful to see so many new faces, and of course to see so many of you that are friends and partners in this ministry. What a privilege it is to be together. Last year we had to cancel. The year before that we were virtual. This is incredible, and we are so grateful that we could be together today. Thank you. And how fun to be able to recognize people who have been on this journey with Lutheran Social Services for a number of years. Those of you who have been before, you will notice that there's new ribbons. Our ribbons are milestone. The new ribbons are milestone ribbons, and they recognize the number of years that someone has been a financial partner with Lutheran Social Services. We're honored to be able to recognize people beginning at their 5-year anniversary of regular giving, consecutive. Now, I will admit that sometimes our record's a little sketchy, but we think this is consecutive giving. Ribbons designate that anniversary that has been most recently met. So my ribbon says 5 years. I didn't bring my ribbons up with me, but it's the anniversary that has most recently been met. 5, 10, 15, 20. I encourage you to look around today when you're meeting people and notice those that are wearing those ribbons. I just want to pause for a minute and just really thank you, those of you wearing these milestone ribbons. This commitment to others is just remarkable. You're part of every story that you hear today. And I want you to know that we appreciate you, and that we see you, and that you are important to us. Which is really about what this day is all about, right? Is being able to see people and recognize their worth. Because honestly, that doesn't always happen. I wonder, have you ever felt invisible? Has there been a time when you felt passed over, or maybe you were waiting for service and you got ignored? Or maybe you were not consulted about an important decision that was made. That feeling of being discounted or disregarded, it's uncomfortable. I saw this over and over again as my parents aged, and more people would talk to me instead of to them, as if they weren't even there. I know that this happens to the people that we serve at Lutheran Social Services. Older adults are ignored, or they're treated like children. Refugees and asylum seekers, we look through them as they're going about their service jobs. We see custodial grandparents and young parents as only their roles. We don't see them as individuals who have their own struggles. And we don't even make eye contact with our brothers and sisters that are experiencing homelessness. What would you see if you looked into the eyes of our invisible neighbors? Would you see the struggle of being a single mom who loves her children dearly and knows that they're going to go to bed hungry tonight? That breaks her heart. Would you see the grief and trauma of a professional, maybe a doctor or a nurse, who fled their war-torn country and now works in housekeeping at the hotel that you're staying at? Would you see loneliness in the eyes of an older adult who spent their lifetime in service to others and now lives alone? And what about that person who's obviously homeless? What might you see if you looked in their eyes? Fear? Shame? Loneliness? I've spent my career looking into the faces of those that many would rather not see. Those whose lives have taken a turn for the unexpected and who really just don't have family or community to support them. I've had the privilege of expressing God's compassion and justice in my work, and I'm grateful that God has brought me here to Lutheran Social Services because it's a place where I can express God's love to others and proclaim that love by ministering to those that are invisible. The mission of Lutheran Social Services is to stabilize people during times of crisis, to build a foundation from which they can thrive, and to preserve dignity and respect for our most vulnerable neighbors. And who is our neighbor? Well, didn't Jesus answer that question for us many years ago? He told a story of a Good Samaritan. The man who was robbed and beaten was invisible to the first few people that walked past him. In fact, they crossed to the other side of the road so they wouldn't have to see him. They saw something disturbing and walked away. Only the Samaritan, someone who would not have been expected to behave compassionately, took the time to look into the face of the person in need, to see him, and then to do something about it. Looking directly at need, that can feel hard and overwhelming, but ignoring it also has costs. Suffering demands its due in higher costs for health care and emergency services that we pay in premiums as well as higher taxes. It has human costs in the loss of dignity and agency and shame. And I think there's a spiritual cost in seeing our brothers and sisters in need, as Jesus spoke when he said, whatever we do for the least of these, we do for him. Turning away from that, well, that hurts. Hope and healing is found when we look directly at the need and then we do something for the individual and about the issues that created the problem in the first place. You have heard me say this before. We know what to do. We know what interventions will stop suffering. We know what we need to do to address need. It is within our reach. We don't have to turn away. We can make a difference. You can do something. You can help. In this next year, Lutheran Social Services is all about seeing and creating solutions. We're growing in several areas. You've heard Amber talk about the growth of iHelp into the city of Phoenix, while we're continuing to look to add more churches and volunteers in Peoria, Surprise, Avondale, Glendale, and Mesa. We're also going to be working to support a new approach to refugee resettlement that's being introduced by the State Department that's bringing some privatization and will increase the number of refugees that are able to come to our communities. We're growing our services in southern Arizona for older adults, trying to add more workers so we can meet more need, and increasing our range of services that are available to families here in Maricopa County. And we'll be increasing our efforts to advocate for affordable housing, which is so important to all of us. With your partnership, LSS helped over 20,000 people this last year. But what if we could reach 25,000 this next year? What if we were able to double the number of iHelp churches, hire more direct care workers to help older adults, open another food pantry, recruit more people to be involved in welcoming refugees and supporting those who come legally to the United States? What if we were able to hire case managers to work alongside our congregations who are trying to respond to all the people that arrive at their front doors? What if we really looked and saw our neighbors and figured out what we can do to make that different? Homelessness, loneliness, hunger, it affects everyone. Pain is real. The need is great, but so is the opportunity. Like the Samaritan, you can bind wounds. You can provide solace. Solutions are attainable when we join together, we look, we see, we act. Our neighbors are waiting. Now, I would ask you to turn your attention to the video where you're going to see and hear from 3 of the neighbors that Lutheran Social Services has helped in this past year.
My name is Basira Delir. I am from Afghanistan. We are very dangerous in Afghanistan. My husband, he was work with American Army for like 6 or 7 years. The Taliban keep watch because people work before with government, they take them. We applied to come in the United States, so we are waiting for 1 year and we got our visa, so we came here. My daughter, she was 2 years old. My sister-in-law asked her, "Where are you going?" She said, "America." Yeah, she was very happy. She said, "America." When I came in Arizona, I was very excited and I was very nervous too, because everything is new for me, everything. Luncheon helped me a lot, especially the classes make me powerful, I say, how do I learn English? How do I able to talk with the people? I talk with teacher, they help us a lot. So after 3 or 4 months, I was help another student. I was able to speak. I was take English class, sewing class, computer class. The English class helped me with my, speaking. Sewing class, it's made me powerful, so I was able for the first time, I got my first check. I was very excited, I was very happy, I got this money, so I work on it. I learned how to make my life better, how to be a strong woman, not nervous. Now in Afghanistan, the woman is not able to go to school, So I'm very happy. I have 3 daughters. They are safe in here. They are able to go to school. So the number 4 is on the way. So anything they wanted, they can do it. And my daughter, she was saying, "Mommy, we are very lucky." I say, "Yes, because we are here, the Taliban is not able to come here." I say, "Yes." I learned everything that I need to be in this country. My life has changed 100%.
My name is Janelle Serrato, and I have 2 boys, a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old, and my husband. When we moved to Arizona, it was pretty tough that first year. Not knowing anybody, not being able to go anywhere because I didn't know the city. I started to wonder what kind of services were out here, and finding the LSS centers became somewhere that I can take my child to and get out of the house and not be so stressed out with the move, with being alone, and with just having a baby. What do I do?
My name is Abril Coronel, and I work for Lutheran Social Services for the past 10 years, and I'm the program manager for the Family Resource Centers. What we do here at the Family Resource Centers is providing tools for the family to become more successful in life by giving them workshops or learning together activities. Those activities are for the family and the child to interact together and learn more how to spend quality time with the kids and be successful at life.
I started noticing changes with my 7-year-old. His behavior, his hyperactiveness, with the way he spoke. So I started to ask for some resources so that I could find out if my kid needed some help.
So Janelle was struggling. She was very sad. I felt really close to this family and I was really worried for her too. So I was sure that she got the appropriate resources and let her know that that's okay. We will be here and everything will be okay.
During that time and finding out that my son could possibly be autistic, as a mom, I felt pretty devastated because I had waited so long. And because of that, he started falling behind. Alice has helped me with that and helped me find the resources that I needed at a low cost. And I was able to get my kid the help that he needed to be able to get diagnosed.
Since then, I noticed Janelle being more relaxed, more willing to learn and to open up to her son. And she's doing an amazing job as a mom.
I started feeling better. I started feeling like, okay, we're gonna be fine. My son's gonna be okay.
We don't solve the problems for them. We guide them. We give them tools. We empower them. So with Janelle, we were able to enroll her in the coaching program with one of the amazing coaches that we have. And she walked with her around this new experience in her life.
I feel like a better parent because of it, and I will continue to come here until my kids outgrow the program.
My name is Nancy Craven. I'm 78 years old, and I'm a graduate of the iHelp program. In my lifetime, if anyone would have ever told me that I was going to be homeless in my old age, I'd have said, you're crazy. How could I be homeless? I've worked all my life. I'm not going to be homeless. But it can happen to anyone. The mobile home I had was a very large mobile home and a very large addition, and I thought I would be there for the rest of my life. But when the lease could not be renewed, we had to leave. We had no choice. So I became homeless. The seniors in this valley, it's happening to a lot because we're priced out of the market. Either we can't afford the rents or we can't meet all the deposits, or we don't qualify. When I became homeless, it was very terrifying. I ended up sleeping behind a church and going down to the park in the daytime. And because it was hot out, I'd ride the buses in the afternoon all over the valley to keep cool. I had prayed out there, Lord, please, I have to get off this street. I didn't know how it would happen. God had answered my prayers. Lutheran Social Services and the iHelp program helped me get off the street. The iHelp program saved my life. I felt joy. I was safe. It was clean. People were nice. I mean, it was just like a miracle. And all that fear was gone. There's nothing that you need to have when you come in this program homeless to move forward through the program to whereby you end your homelessness and be in a position to never be homeless again. Now that I have my own residence, I'm no longer a participant in iHelp, but I come back as a volunteer monitor to be able to give back to this program what I can for all they gave me. And it's my pleasure to be able to do it for them. Just kindness and acceptance and love can change a person tremendously. It makes you look at yourself different. Everybody in the world needs love, and so many of these women have not had love in their life, but this program gives it to them.
Here we go. Good afternoon. I'm Bev Locke.
I am a volunteer with iHelp at Victory Lutheran Church in Mesa. I'm also a member of the Creating Community. Yeah, that's right, the Creating Community Society. I got involved with iHelp about 12 years ago. I offered to cover one night for the lady who was in charge because she had to leave town. She never came back. So 12 years later, here I am, and I'm still loving every single minute that we have iHelp at Victory. This is my friend, Shannon.
Thank you, Beverly. My name is Shannon, and I am both a former and a current iHelp guest. I came to Beverly about 5 years ago, and iHelp worked for me one time, and it's helping me again.
Shannon, you talked about being homeless a second time. We've known each other for a long time. After overcoming homelessness, how did it happen again?
Well, I never imagined I'd be homeless once, much less twice. Being without a home is difficult for many to imagine. I'm a retired school teacher. I'm an ASU graduate. And like many retired households, I had a very tight fixed income. The past few years have seen a drastic increase in housing prices. And when I was priced out of my home, I ended up on the streets again. Between that, health issues and other barriers to employment, it's been difficult to think about re-entering the workforce. I've been through iHelp in the past, and I know that it was my best and only option to be self-sufficient again.
I'm also a retired educator, so we have a lot in common. It's really true, homelessness affects everyone. When the basic need for safety is threatened, it's really difficult to think clearly beyond what and where will I sleep tonight, and will I be safe? The iHelp churches answer that question with eager servants' hearts. So let's talk about that. How have the iHelp locations and volunteers supported you?
Well, the iHelp host churches and all the wonderful volunteers are so helpful, meeting both our physical, our spiritual, our emotional needs. Beverly has a why not attitude when it comes to helping, which is wonderful to help us solve difficult problems that we face. But that's what all the iHelp volunteers do. They spend their time, labor, resources to help meet our needs, as well as providing emotional support.
It's a two-way street. When my husband Don had back surgery, I needed to stay closer to home. But he still wanted me to continue with iHelp because it was very important to us. Thanks to my co-chair and many volunteers, we made it through. And then we made it through COVID as well. And when Don passed away, caring for my ladies gave me a reason to get up every morning. They helped make my next chapter of my life full of purpose and meaning. When facing difficulties, it is so important to draw on your inner strength and build a new life. Shannon, would you share more about what it felt like facing homelessness?
Facing homelessness is a nightmare situation that I wish no person ever had to experience. It's an indescribably traumatic event with many layers of complications. The reality of being homeless is that one's faith in humanity struggles to survive as much as we do. Daily existence becomes a fight for survival without like iHelp. There's a great need for those seeking both shelter and a hand up as opposed to a handout, which is something I found to be the case with iHelp. As guests, we are seeking a hand up to get back onto our feet and become self-sustaining again.
You've touched on this a little bit, but with the theme of today's luncheon being our invisible neighbor, I'd like to know, what does that mean to you?
Well, I refuse to allow the stigma of being homeless to affect my self-worth. There's many instances where we're reminded that we're considered a less special class of people. The causes, however, of homelessness are wide-ranging, and there's a spectrum of life challenges and situations that can lead a person to becoming homeless. Having the homeless experience does not necessarily mean that a person is completely broken, nor capable of reaching our potential. Regardless of what form success may become, I'm not invisible, and I continue to remind others of that as well.
You're right, Shannon. As volunteers, we focus more on meeting people where they are, not judging, but inviting, encouraging, and making our guests feel seen and heard. At Victory, our mission focus now includes serving as Jesus' hands, not just sending money. Lutheran Social Services provides the structure and support for the program, including case management, counseling, assistance with benefits and health concerns, along with referrals to other agencies when that's appropriate. The churches provide a place where women can heal and begin to reshape their lives. What a priceless gift we can give them. Shannon, thank you for joining us and sharing your story.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks to all the volunteers, to all the donors. Thank you to my case manager. Shout out to Jack, Pastor Jack in the room, I noticed. He's the host church for this evening that I'll be staying at and feeding us this evening. So I'm so thankful and grateful to all you've done, Beverly, to everybody who's helped me. Thank you so much.
If anybody would like to learn more about being a host church, we're happy to talk to you after the luncheon is over.
I'm available as well. If anybody has any specific questions about me, my situation, or my experience, I'll be available as well.
We're done.
Did too? Oh, thank you, Connie. I just needed Connie to jump up. That's all. Thank you. You're fast, and I appreciate that. Let me get to mine. I just want to say thank you to Bev and Shannon for sharing their story with us today. My name is Wendy Look, and I am a member of the Board of Directors at Lutheran Social Services of the Southwest. In addition, my husband and I are also Creating Community Society members. Like many of you, I was introduced to this life-changing work when I was invited to a Come and See tour. The people, the program, the volunteers, and most importantly, the stories I heard that day have stayed with me forever. I knew at that point in time I wanted to be involved with Lutheran Social Services. One of my favorite experiences that I'll never forget takes place in May of 2021, when our Family Resource Center hosted a virtual baby shower. I volunteered to deliver gifts of diapers, car seats, diaper bags full of baby essentials to the women's homes who participated in the virtual baby shower. When I arrived at Sally's house, she could not believe the amount of gifts I was bringing to her family. When I brought the last load of gifts to her door, she said, "Wendy, this is the best day of my life. Thank you. And today is also my birthday." She hugged me, a stranger, in May of 2021 when the world seemed so upside down. She welcomed me into her home. She invited me to come meet her newborn son and the rest of her family and asked me to stay for hamburgers. I had to go. I had other gifts to deliver, but it was very life-changing for me and I know it was life-changing for her as well. Together, we are all change makers, and we trust that you share the importance of this mission as we do. On behalf of my husband, Scott, and I, and our fellow Creating Community Society members, we invite you to join us as members of the Creating Community Society. Creating Community Society members make a 5-year pledge of $1,000 or more per year to support the greatest needs of those essential programs. Please refer to your donation form on your tables to consider joining at one of the 3 levels listed. To further inspire you, we are excited to announce a generous leadership gift of $195,000 made by the Creating Community Society leadership donors. They are listed in your program. They are challenging you to join them in reaching our goal of raising $250,000 to meet the needs and areas of growth Connie described. Thank you to these generous leadership donors for their support. For a pledge of $1,000 for 5 years, you're invited to join the Creating Community Society, helping pave the ways for those clients like Sarah, Janelle, and Nancy. If joining the Creating Community Society is not right for you at this time, consider making a monthly or a one-time gift. Your monthly gift of $83.33 or $1,000 today could help 15 people find permanent housing, a stable job, and more through case management. A commitment to this level for 5 years would make you eligible to join the Creating Community Society, helping to build, stabilize, preserve countless lives. Your monthly gift of $60 or $720 today could shelter and feed 12 iHelp guests per year. Your monthly gift of $30 or $360 today would help 6 iHelp guests with temporary shelter. For those who are current Creating Community Society members, we ask you to consider paying off your gift early or increasing the amount of your pledge. Finally, if you would like to make a gift of stock or other non-cash assets, or you simply have some great ideas to share with us, please mark the box. I have other thoughts to share, and one of us will follow up with you in the coming days. Any level of giving will make a difference and change lives. You're answering the call to help neighbors like Shannon. Together, we are the change. For those filling out the forms today, we ask you to place your completed form in the envelopes provided. You can drop off your gift at the door with one of our volunteers. Before we end the lunch today, I'm going to provide you some time to complete your donation forms. On behalf of everyone at Lutheran Social Services, those who came as refugees, children, older adults, neighbors we serve every day, thank you for coming to listen, to learn, and to contribute your valuable time with us here today. We sincerely appreciate all of you. Please, when you leave, please take one of the snack packs at the center of your table. These snack packs represent items that are given to our iHelp guests in the morning when they leave our churches. Also, when you leave, please also drop off your name badges. We do recycle these. Thank you. And as I mentioned, you can drop off your generous gift today in the envelopes with one of our volunteers at the door. Thank you again for spending your afternoon with us. Drive home safely, and thank you very much.